If you're moving to Bozeman, choosing where to live is one of the biggest decisions you'll make. There are a lot of great neighborhoods, each with a totally different vibe, price point, and lifestyle. Today, I'm breaking down the top 9 neighborhoods people consistently want based on data online and what people are searching for. Starting at number 9, we have Woodland Park, which is a newer subdivision that's quickly become quite popular. Woodland Park appeals to people looking for a peaceful, community-oriented neighborhood with trail access and parks. It's designed with lots of sidewalks and green spaces, making it ideal for those who want kids to be able to bike around safely. It's on the west side of Bozeman, just off of Huffine, but tucked back far enough that you really can't hear that traffic at all. And worth noting, the next phase of the development is underway, as you might be able to see behind me here. That road is going to be extended and the next phase is going in. So there's soon to be more going on in this neighborhood. Over the last year, homes in Woodland Park have sold with a median price around $932,000, averaging around 2,700 square feet. The range goes from about $700,000 up to 1.1, maybe 1.2 million. These are all single family homes in a newer development, so you're getting modern layouts and finishes throughout. If you need to be right in the middle of everything or want walkability to downtown or restaurants and shops, Woodland Park might feel a little bit removed, but less so than Four Corners, as it's sort of in between the west end of Bozeman and Four Corners. And if you're looking for an established neighborhood with mature trees and character, this is going to be mostly newer construction, so the trees aren't quite there yet. If Woodland Park does appeal to you, Sierra Vista, right next door, is another new development worth also considering that has a similar feel. So let's take a look at Woodland Park, and then number 8 is going to be a really solid choice on the northwest side. At number 8, we have Flanders Mill, which is on the northwest side of Bozeman with some of the best Bridger Mountain views you'll find in town. Flanders Mill appeals to buyers who want an upscale neighborhood with direct access to outdoor recreation. You've got parks, trails, and you're close enough to Bridger Bowl for skiing where it's maybe a 20 or 30-minute drive. It's a well-established neighborhood that attracts professionals and people who prioritize mountain views and an active lifestyle. Over the last year, homes in Flanders Mill have sold with a median price of around $1.13 million, averaging around 2,800 square feet. The range typically goes from about $820,000 to over $1.78 million. Now that lower end, around $820,000, does include one townhome, while the single family homes run from about $850,000 and up, depending on size, lot, and of course, finishes. These are larger, higher end homes. You're paying for the views, the location, and the neighborhood amenities. If you're looking for an affordable entry point into Bozeman, Flanders Mill might be out of reach. This is definitely a luxury neighborhood, and if you want to be able to walk downtown to shops and restaurants, you'll be driving from this one. Now, if you like those northwest side mountain views but want other options, Bridger Creek, which we'll talk about in just a minute, offers a similar appeal. And one thing folks tend to love about Flanders Mill is the proximity to the 100-acre Gallatin Regional Park. You've got a big dog park, fenced off area, there's a bike pump track, there's a couple of little lakes, tons of trails all over it, and even a sled hill for winter. So that is definitely a big draw, and it's right across Ferguson from where Flanders Mill sits. So let's take a look around Flanders Mill and that park, and then stick with me because number 7 is a great value with what it has to offer. Now, real quick note, these aren't my picks. This is what folks tend to want time after time and what people call their favorites online too. I pulled data from niche.com, local real estate rankings, even ChatGPT to see what neighborhoods consistently come up. And I did factor in a little bit of what I've seen working with clients, what people wish they'd known before they chose a neighborhood. Things like proximity to schools, parks, and amenities, safety ratings with neighborhood walkability, housing variety, price points, access to outdoor recreation, community feel, and local character, and what actual residents say about living there. And one quick note on pricing, all the market data I'm going to mention here reflects residential sales from the last 6 months, including single family homes, condos, and townhomes. So when you see a wide price range in a neighborhood, that usually means there's a good mix of property types or home sizes. So this is a blend of data and real world experience. And stick around because some of these neighborhoods might just surprise you. And one other quick note, as I said, these are the neighborhoods that consistently show up as favorites when people search online. But there are so many other great neighborhoods that don't make these lists, so I'm going to put together a separate video coming out soon about those underrated neighborhoods. But today we're focusing on what people are actively searching for and asking about the most. I keep a really close eye on these neighborhoods, all of them really across Bozeman, from those value options to the luxury neighborhoods as well. So if you want to know what's available in your price range and what makes the most sense for your situation, my info's in the description. At number 7, we've got Northstar, which is located in Four Corners on the west side of Bozeman. Northstar appeals to people who want great value in a neighborhood with excellent amenities. You've got several parks with well-maintained playground equipment, a trail system that connects to other subdivisions, and easy access to both Bozeman and Belgrade, and of course, direct access heading south towards Big Sky. You're surrounded by farmland and open fields, and residents love the peace and quiet of the location. It's a great option for those who want more space and a neighborhood feel without paying downtown or luxury prices. Over the last year, homes in Northstar have sold with a median price around $603,000, averaging about 1,800 square feet. The range goes from about $434,000 up to $855,000. Now that lower end includes condos, which typically run from about that $435,000 to $625,000, while single family homes start around $540,000 and go up to $855,000. So there's real variety here depending on what type of property you're looking for. So if you want to be able to walk to Main Street or feel like you're in the heart of Bozeman, Four Corners is gonna feel a little far out. You're trading location for space and value, and if you don't have a car or prefer not to drive, Northstar might not be ideal. You'll be driving to most places. Other Four Corners neighborhoods worth looking at include Elk Grove, which we'll talk about here in just a little bit, and then of course we've got Middle Creek Parklands, Gallatin Heights, and the brand new development, Gallatin Meadows. We're gonna take a closer look here at exactly what Northstar offers, and then number 6 is one people love for the community vibe. At number 6, we have Valley West, which is on the west side of Bozeman and is one of the most popular neighborhoods in town. Valley West appeals to those who want a neighborhood with built-in amenities and a strong sense of community. You've got a central lake, over 4 miles of walking and biking trails, tree-lined streets, and it's close to schools that are rated excellent online, including Meadowlark Elementary and Heritage Christian. It's also near shopping at Ferguson Farms, so people love the balance. You get a neighborhood that feels established with mature landscaping, but it's still very community-oriented with lots of activity. Price-wise, Valley West has a pretty good range. Over the last year, homes sold with a median price around $527,000, averaging about 1,750 square feet. The range goes from about $380,000 up to nearly $1.4 million. Now that lower end does include condos and townhomes, which typically run from about that $380,000 mark to $590,000, while single family homes start around $525,000 and go up to $1.4 million, depending on that size and location within the neighborhood, and of course any updates or upgrades in the house. So there really is variety here depending on what type of property you're looking for. If you want a newer modern home with all the latest finishes, Valley West has a mix. Some homes are original builds from when the development first started, so you might be looking at updates instead of finding something newer, but there are some in the neighborhood which were built more recently. And if you want large lots or acreage, this is more of a traditional subdivision with standard lot sizes. Lakes at Valley West is also nearby and offers a similar feel at a slightly lower price point. I'm going to take you through Valley West, and then we'll head to number 5, which is one of the luxury standards in town. All right, at number 5, we've got Bridger Creek, and within that, there's a specific subdivision called the Legends at Bridger Creek that's worth talking about separately because it's one of the luxury standards in Bozeman. Bridger Creek appeals to buyers who want mountain views, proximity to outdoor recreation, and a quieter, more upscale neighborhood feel. You're close to Bridger Bowl, Bridger Creek Golf Course, and you have easy access to Bridger Canyon for hiking and trails. It attracts professionals, empty nesters, and those who are willing to pay a premium for location and view. views. Price-wise, over the last year, homes in the broader Bridger Creek area have sold with a median price around $890,000, averaging about 2,600 square feet. The range goes from about $595,000 up to nearly $1.9 million. Now that lower end, roughly $595,000 to $895,000, does include townhomes and condos in the Bridger Creek area, while single-family homes start around $890,000 and go up from there depending on size, location, and level of customization, of course. Now, of course, I mentioned there's a specific subdivision called the Legends at Bridger Creek, which is where I'm standing right now, and it is worth mentioning separately. Legends tends to be on the higher end. Over the last year, homes in here sold with a median around $945,000, and the range goes from about $630,000 for those townhomes up to about $1.25 or higher for single family, with some, of course, listed even higher. So if you're looking at Bridger Creek and want to know the distinctions, Legends is going to be your more exclusive option within that broader area. Now, if you're on a tight budget or looking for an affordable entry point, Bridger Creek, especially the Legends, is likely going to be out of reach. And if you want to be able to walk to downtown shops and restaurants, you're trading walkability for views and space here. If you like the mountain views and upscale feel but want to explore other options, of course, you've got Flanders Mill, which we already covered, that offers a similar appeal on the northwest side. So I want to show you what makes Bridger Creek and the Legends so special. So we'll take a quick look there. And then coming up, number 4 is one of the most established in Four Corners. Number 4 here is Elk Grove, which is technically in Four Corners, but it's a little ways south heading towards Big Sky. And it's one of the most established and consistently popular neighborhoods in the area. Elk Grove appeals to people who want that country feeling, larger lots, mountain views, open space, but still want to be only about 15 minutes from downtown Bozeman. It's a large planned community with around 300 single-family, mostly custom-built homes. You've got great trails, parks, a sand volleyball court, a basketball court, even a baseball field. It's a neighborhood with a real sense of community, and people love the balance of space and convenience. Over the last year, homes in Elk Grove have sold with a median price around $975,000, averaging about 3,700 square feet. The range goes from about $743,000 up to about $1.2 million. These are larger custom homes on bigger lots, all single family, so you're paying for space and that lifestyle. If you want to be able to walk to restaurants, shops, and downtown Bozeman, Elk Grove is going to feel too far out for sure. You're trading walkability for space and views. And if you're on a tighter budget, this neighborhood skews higher price for sure. If you like the Four Corners area, of course, there's Middle Creek Parklands, which is a little bit newer in a similar, if not a little bit higher price range. You've also got Gallatin Heights and Gallatin Meadows out there off of Jackrabbit, which are strong alternatives worth exploring. And then, of course, if you're looking for something at a little bit lower price point in that Four Corners area, Northstar, which we talked about previously, is another great option. We'll drive around and see what Elk Grove has going on, and then you'll see number 3 is one of the luxury standards in Bozeman. At number 3, we've got Triple Tree, and this is one of the most established luxury neighborhoods in Bozeman. Triple Tree often sets the standard for what newer luxury communities are trying to achieve. Triple Tree tends to appeal to buyers looking for an established upscale neighborhood with mature landscaping and a prestigious address. These are custom homes on larger lots with mountain views, and the neighborhood has a reputation for quality. It attracts professionals, executives, and people who want to live in one of Bozeman's most recognizable luxury areas, especially those who might want a little bit of acreage along with it. So what makes it set the standard? What does that actually mean? Triple Tree was developed starting in the early 2000s, and it set the bar for luxury subdivisions in Bozeman at the time. You've got larger lots, many are half an acre or more. You've got custom-built homes with high-end finishes, mature trees, and landscaping, and covenants that maintain a certain aesthetic. The HOA enforces standards for exterior maintenance, so you're not going to see rundown properties or major exterior modifications that clash with a neighborhood character. The homes themselves vary in style. You'll see everything from mountain contemporary to more traditional designs, but they all skew towards high-end construction. The neighborhood does have some golf courses and other amenities not too far away, easy access to Sourdough Canyon, for instance, and Triple Tree itself actually has a trailhead that heads up into the mountains for one of the most incredible views in Bozeman. And of course, you're only about 10 to 15 minutes from downtown still. The culture here is more private than community oriented. People aren't necessarily gathering at neighborhood events or block parties. It's more about having space, privacy, and living in a recognized luxury area. That appeals to some people and not to others. Over the last year, homes in Triple Tree have sold with a median price around $2.3 million, averaging about 5,300 square feet. The average sale price has been closer to $4 million. That's higher because of one sale that went for over $7.6 million. The range goes from about $2.25 up to that $7.6 million. These are all single family homes, so you're looking at serious luxury properties here. Now, because this neighborhood is 15 to 20 years old at this point, you're mostly buying from original owners or second owners. Some homes have been updated with modern kitchens, bathrooms, and tech. Others are more original. So when you're looking in Triple Tree, you need to assess whether the home has been updated or if you're going to want to put money into some renovations. The bones are good, the lots are great, but the interiors might vary. If you're looking for a brand new modern home with all the latest finishes already done, some homes in Triple Tree may need those updates because this is such an established neighborhood. So you might be buying a home that needs a kitchen or bathroom refresh. And obviously, if you're budget conscious, Triple Tree is one of the most expensive neighborhoods in Bozeman. If you're looking for luxury neighborhoods that might be a little bit more affordable, Legends at Bridger Creek, which we already talked about, is another top option, as well as Black Bull and Spring Hill Reserve on the north side, which are also worth exploring if you want that upscale feel. Let's take a look at what Triple Tree actually looks like, and then number 2 might actually surprise you. At number 2, we have historic downtown Bozeman, and this is a neighborhood that consistently ranks at the top for people who want walkability, charm, and that true Bozeman lifestyle. Downtown or near downtown appeals to people who want to walk to everything: restaurants, shops, breweries, galleries, farmers markets, community events. You're surrounded by beautiful historic homes, tree-lined streets, and you're close to parks like Bogart and Lindley. The area tends to attract young professionals, empty nesters, and people who prioritize community and culture over space. If you want to feel connected to what makes Bozeman special, downtown delivers that. Now, within downtown, there's a variation. If you're right over on Main Street or within a block or two, you're in the thick of it. You can literally walk out your door and be at restaurants, the co-op, and events like the Art Walks and Sweet Pea Festival. The residential streets just off of Main, like South Wilson, Tracy, Black, and Olive, give you that historic charm with slightly more quiet. You're still a 5-minute walk to everything, but you're not dealing with as much foot traffic or weekend noise. And here's what living downtown actually looks like. On weekends, especially in summer, it gets busy. Main Street has live music, events, people walking around. If you're on a residential side street, you might hear it a bit, but it's not going to be overwhelming. If you're right downtown in a condo, for instance, you're a part of it, which some people love and some people don't. Parking can be tight. A lot of the historic homes have one-car garages or street parking. If you have multiple cars or want garage space for bikes, tools, whatever, that can be a challenge. But the trade-off is that you're walking most places anyway. Coffee, dinner, all walkable, maybe even the grocery store. And you're so close to Lindley and Bogart Park, Pete's Hill for a quick hike, the Galligator Trail that runs right through the south side of downtown. So even though you're urban, you still have outdoor access right there. Price-wise, downtown is expensive. Over the last year, homes have sold with a median around $1.21 million, averaging about 2,300 square feet. The range goes from about $405,000 up to $2.7 million. And there's a real mix of property types here. Condos can range from $405,000 all the way up to $2 million, depending on location and size. Townhomes tend to be on the higher end, from maybe $2 million to $2.7 million, and single-family homes run from $795,000 up to $2.7 million. And those are going to be a range of ages, but mostly they are going to be older, though they may have some really incredible renovations. So downtown offers variety, but inventory is limited, and when homes do come on the market, they tend to move pretty quickly. So if you need a big yard, garage space for toys, or acreage, downtown won't give you that. Some of the lots are small and many homes have limited outdoor space. And if you're sensitive to noise or foot traffic, especially on the weekends in summer, living right on or off of Main Street or near the bars can get get loud. You're trading space and quiet for walkability and being in the heart of things. If you love the walkability and charm but want something a little bit quieter, the Southside neighborhoods near MSU offer a similar tree-lined historic feel with slightly more space. And as I mentioned, inventory can be limited. So if this is your ideal area, you might need to be patient and ready to move when something comes available. So let's take a peek at what downtown living looks like, and then I'll tell you that #1 ranked neighborhood. Speaking of limited inventory and moving fast, if you're interested in any of these top neighborhoods, especially the higher demand areas like downtown, let me know what you're looking for. I can set you up on a search that alerts you the moment something comes on the market in your target area. That way you're not missing out on homes that sell in a day or two. Reach out anytime. My contact info is in the description, of course. And even if you're not ready for something like that, I often find that a conversation about these different areas where I can ask you questions, you can ask me questions, can make all the difference in determining the right spot for you. So don't hesitate to reach out. I'd be happy to have that conversation with you. And finally, at #1, we have Baxter Meadows, including Baxter Meadows West, which is where I am. And this is the neighborhood that consistently ranks at the top for most people. Baxter Meadows appeals to a wide range of buyers, young professionals, and really anyone who wants a well-rounded neighborhood with access to everything. You're on the northwest side of Bozeman, close proximity to schools, including some of the top rated in the area. You've got parks, trails, and shopping nearby. It's close enough to downtown, but still feels like a neighborhood. There's a mix of single-family homes and multifamily options, so it works for different budgets and stages of life. One of the big draws here is Gallatin Regional Park as well. It's that 100-acre park I talked about earlier. Not quite as close as Flanders Mill, but close enough that you could definitely walk there. You've got sports fields, playgrounds, a dog park, walking trails, and those picnic areas. It's the kind of park where you do see people year-round, and beyond that, you've got neighborhood parks scattered throughout Baxter Meadows, so there's green space everywhere. And one of those higher rated middle schools is practically in the neighborhood. Now, not trying to steer you toward or away from any particular school district, and those do change frequently, so definitely something to keep an eye on and do your own research. Over the last year, homes in Baxter Meadows have sold with a median price around $615,000, averaging about 1,700 square feet. The range goes from about $492,000 up to about $860,000. Now, that lower end does include condos, which typically run from about $492,000 to $660,000, while single family homes start around $525,000 and go up to that $860,000 mark. So there's real variety here, depending on what type of property you're looking for and how large of a lot you want, because that's where Baxter Meadows West comes into play. It's a separate section that tends to be significantly higher end. Over the last year, homes here have sold with a median around $1.25 million, averaging around 3,000 square feet. The full range in Baxter Meadows West goes from about just over $1 million to about 1.35. And these are all single family homes on larger lots. And there's one key difference. Regular Baxter Meadows has standard subdivision lots, typically quarter acre or less, with a mix of home sizes and ages. Baxter Meadows West has larger lots, some approaching half an acre or more, and the homes tend to be newer and larger overall. So if you're looking at the Baxter area, know there's a big range depending on which section you're in. And that's the key. It's not necessarily the best neighborhood for everyone, but it's the most well-rounded option for the most people. And that's why it ranks #1. And this is all exactly why it's so important to talk through what you actually need in a neighborhood, because Baxter Meadows checks boxes for a lot of people, but it might not check your boxes. If you want to walk through the best options based on your specific situation, my information is in the description below. Now, let me show you why Baxter Meadows ranks #1. Now, before we wrap up, I want to quickly mention a few areas that are worth keeping an eye on. Neighborhoods that are either growing fast or seeing new development. One is the reserve at Heritage Park. I'm getting a lot of questions about this one. It's a newer development that's generating a ton of interest. Also, in that same category is Gallatin Meadows. This is a newer development in the Four Corners area that's seeing active growth. It's worth watching if you're interested in that part of town. We've got Bridger View Estates up near Bridger Canyon, seeing some beautiful custom homes going in, And then Belgrade, while technically not Bozeman, it's worth mentioning Belgrade is growing fast and offers more affordable options while still being close to Bozeman. I actually have several whole videos all about Belgrade that are linked in the description if you want to learn more about the area. So those are definitely some areas to watch if you're planning a move in the next year or two. All right, so those are the top 9 neighborhoods in the Bozeman area based on what people consistently want and what I've seen working with clients over the years. Obviously, every neighborhood has trade-offs. There's no perfect fit for everyone, but hopefully this gives you a clearer picture of what's out here and helps you narrow down where you want to focus your search. Now, I want to mention these 9 neighborhoods are what consistently rank as favorites online and with clients, but there are absolutely neighborhoods I and many other locals love that fly under the radar and don't show up on these lists. And I'm working on a video about those underrated options. So if you want to see that one when it drops, make sure you're subscribed. And if you have questions about any of these neighborhoods, or if there's one I didn't cover that you want to know more about, drop a comment below and I'll be sure to get back to you. And of course, I've got plenty of other videos about different areas, pros and cons, all about living in Bozeman, Montana. So if you want to check out that playlist, that is right here. And until next time, I hope to show you around town.